Hey folks, Garrett Fisher here. I need to tell you about this absolutely mind-blowing podcast, Acting President, that's been keeping me up at night. It's about James Bennett, a former governor starring in a hit Sunday night TV show about overthrowing the government, and then his actual former chief of staff approaches him to do it for real. The line between fiction and reality completely disappears when these course correction rallies start popping up everywhere. Is it brilliant marketing or something more sinister? The parallels are insane. Trust me, this is the political thriller you didn't know you needed in your life. Acting President, available now wherever you find podcasts.
Offer valid on standard browsers, US only.
When I heard about Date My Age, I thought, really? But there I was in my empty, quiet house, my laptop on the kitchen counter, and I typed in my name. Looking for a man between the ages of 40 to 60? Sure, why not?
Date My Age is different. With verified profiles, you can feel safe and secure to explore meaningful connections with interesting and mature singles.
Date My Age made it really easy. I could join and view online profiles for free. All of a sudden, my empty house wasn't so quiet anymore. I got so much attention, it just made me feel seen and alive. Date My Age helped me start a totally new chapter in my life.
Find a friend, a lover, a partner at Date My Age. Get 60% off when you join at datemyage.com today. That's datemyage.com to connect with thousands of singles worldwide. datemyage.com.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where that free plane isn't so free, this is Ballot.
That's right, but you know what is free? Freedom. I'm Patrick Gutfield, and President Trump announced Tuesday that we're building something called the Golden Dome Missile Defense System. It's basically a space-based shield that'll protect America from missile attacks. The price tag? A casual $175 billion. That's billion with a B. That's more money than most countries' entire economies. That's buy every American a jet ski and still have money left over money. Trump was in the Oval Office with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who called it a game changer. You know what else was a game changer? The Segway. Remember those? Changed the game right into bankruptcy court. The Congressional Budget Office, those fun-loving accountants who tell us how broke we're going to be, estimated just the space parts alone could cost between $161 billion and $542 billion over 20 years. That's quite a range. That's like saying dinner will cost somewhere between $20 and a kidney. General Michael Getlin from the Space Force is overseeing the project. The Space Force! Remember when that sounded like something from a Saturday morning cartoon? Now they're in charge of our $500 billion space umbrella. Behind Trump's desk during the announcement were these giant posters. One showed America surrounded by a shiny golden ring with the Golden Dome for America written on it. Very subtle. The other had a glowing web of light over the country with a Trump quote. This is a very dangerous world. We're going to protect our citizens like never before. Nothing says everything's fine, quite like giant doomsday posters in the Oval Office. Look, missile defense sounds great in theory. Who doesn't want protection? But when the cost estimate ranges from really expensive to are you out of your mind expensive, maybe we should double check the math. At these prices, we could probably just pay our enemies not to shoot at us and still save money. So remember when your friends said they'd gift you their old car but then ask you to pay for registration, insurance, and new tires? Well, Donald Trump just did that with a $400 million airplane. Trump's been going around telling everyone that Qatar is giving America a free Boeing 747 to replace Air Force One. A gift. How generous. Except CNN just found out that Trump's administration specifically went shopping for this plane. That's not a gift. That's just shopping with someone else's credit card. Here's what really happened. Trump found out Boeing wouldn't have new Air Force One jets ready for 2 more years, 2 whole years. So he sent Steve Witkoff, his Middle East envoy, to go plane shopping. Witkoff called up Qatar like he was browsing Facebook Marketplace for a used Civic. Boeing even gave the Pentagon a list of potential sellers, like they were real estate agents showing available properties. This one has a nice view, comes with cup holders, only owned by one oil-rich nation. Qatar was on that list, and when the US reached out, they said, sure, we'll sell. There were even talks about leasing it, like Trump was trying to get a luxury jet through Hertz. But somehow, and nobody seems to know exactly who, this purchase turned into a gift. A $400 million gift? That's the kind of gift that comes with so many strings attached, it's basically a marionette. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called it a donation to our country. A donation. Like Qatar just woke up one morning and thought, you know what America needs? A slightly used jumbo jet. But here's the thing. It's not really a gift to America. It's a gift to Trump, who apparently spent time in February touring a Qatari plane and complaining about how much nicer it was than Air Force One. The best part? We taxpayers still get to pay for retrofitting this free plane with all the security features, communications equipment, and defensive systems that make Air Force One actually functional. It's like someone gifting you a mansion, but you have to pay to install the plumbing, electricity, and walls. Legal negotiations are still ongoing, which is hilarious. Usually when someone gives you a gift, you don't need lawyers. Thanks for the birthday present. Let me just have my legal team review the terms and conditions.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to calaroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 Good News Stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the Uninterrupted Listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to calaroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
What happens when one of the most powerful men in music is accused of some of the most serious crimes imaginable? Check out the new podcast, Diddy, Did He Do It? Following the federal sex crimes trial of Sean Diddy Combs, coming to you straight from New York City. Every day I'll take you inside the courtroom where prosecutors say Combs ran a criminal enterprise of sex trafficking, coercion, and abuse, using his fame, fortune, and influence to silence victims and control lives. We'll cover the big stories and the small moments that can shift the verdict. The trial has begun. The questions are piling up, and every day we'll be asking the same thing. Did he do it? Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
Tired of doom scrolling? Want news that won't make you want to live in a bunker? Check out 5 Good News Stories, where they find the silver lining in a world that's usually lined with something much less pleasant. The gang at 5 Good News Stories dig through the headlines to find 5 stories that prove humanity hasn't completely lost its mind. It's pretty much the opposite of this show. From scientific breakthroughs nobody's talking about to random acts of kindness that restore your faith in humanity, all delivered with the cutting wit you deserve. 5 Good News Stories, because sometimes the news doesn't have to suck. Subscribe to 5 Good News Stories wherever you get your podcasts. So the Chicago Sun-Times and Philadelphia Inquirer just discovered what happens when you let robots write your summer reading list. Spoiler alert, the robots made up the books. These papers ran a special summer section filled with AI-generated content, complete with fake book titles and quotes from experts who apparently exist only in the ChatGPT multiverse. The papers published something called the Heat Index, a summer activities guide that turned out to be more artificial than a spray tan in January. Some eager writers and podcasters spotted the fakery and shared it online, presumably while laughing so hard they couldn't breathe. Here's where it gets good. The AI recommended books that don't exist. Tidewater Dreams by Isabel Allende? Not a thing. The Last Algorithm by Andy Weir? Nope, he never wrote that. The chatbot just went full creative writing mode and invented an entire Barnes & Noble fiction section. It even made up fake titles for real authors like Britt Bennett and Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's like me telling you I love John Grisham's new cookbook. But wait, there's more! The articles quoted professors and experts who seemingly don't exist. They also attributed quotes to real people that those people never said. Like claiming author Brianna Madia talked to Outside Magazine about hammock culture in 2023. Hammock culture. Is that when you're too lazy to have a couch culture? The freelance writer who created this masterpiece, Marco Buscaglia, admitted he used AI chatbots to write the content. He said he considered calling bookstores or checking Goodreads for real recommendations, but decided to ask a chatbot instead. You know, the same chatbots that once told someone to put glue on pizza. What could go wrong? Buscaglia told the Washington Post there was no excuse for not double-checking his work. No excuse, brother. You had the entire internet at your fingertips. He said he totally missed it and would approach these things differently next time. You know what this means? We've officially reached the point where robots are gaslighting us about beach reads. Next thing you know, AI will be writing lame late-night style monologues, recommending restaurants that don't exist and movies starring actors from parallel dimensions. The real tragedy here? Someone out there probably went to their local bookstore asking for The Last Algorithm and had to deal with a very confused bookseller. No, I swear the Philadelphia Inquirer said it was the must-read of the summer. AI just went full fiction mode and hoped nobody would notice. Well, people noticed. And now, 2 major newspapers have egg on their face, which I'm pretty sure is also the title of a cookbook the AI would recommend. I'm Patrick Gutfield. And irony of ironies, portions of today's show were made with the help of AI.
In Washington, D.C., power flows through information. But what happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? In the halls of power, a national security advisor makes a fatal miscalculation. On the other side of the world, a special forces team walks into a perfectly orchestrated trap. When the dust settles, 4 American soldiers are dead, 3 more captured. And the most catastrophic intelligence breach in modern history is just beginning to unravel. Signal Lost, a 6-part podcast thriller about betrayal, courage, and the devastating consequences of a world where even our most guarded communications are never truly secure. When everyone is listening, nowhere is safe. Signal Lost. Available wherever you get your podcasts.